Welcome back, everyone. JAYBONE here for Smash This Podcast. What is up, everybody? How's everybody doing? So, we're going to cover a few news bits, kind of piggybacking off of last night's Impact Wrestling. Just some news updates. Not going to cover the full episode. We did all that on Total Nonstop. Impact. Full review is up on YouTube, on Twitch, along with audio. Should also be up as well. Gary's Movie Emporium. What's up, dude? Welcome. I don't usually do this during the day, but I did want to get this out of the way before this evening, because this evening Basil's going to be joining me for some AEW stuff following Dynamite, so make sure you tune in for that. And as we get into today's news, don't forget to smash that like button, smash that sub button, and ring that bell for notifications. If you're listening on the audio through anchor.fm, please consider smashing that support button. You can support the podcast for less than $1 a month. There's 3 tiers there. There's merch in the description, all that good stuff, and all the socials. Zach Bonifer. Early midday smashing. That is right. Kerry says he just got caught up with the snow finally. Yeah, that was a thing yesterday. Absolutely. Terrence Sullivan, what is up? All right, so we had some stuff happen last night on Impact Wrestling. Number one, we got hang on a second. Oh, man. We're getting the tired setting in already. Time for a power nap. So we got updates to the card for No Surrender. We got what looks to be, I'm going to double check this as I'm getting into this. We've got Swan defending his Impact Wrestling Heavyweight Championship against none other than Tommy Dreamer. Crazy. Really kind of crazy. This one came out of nowhere. Let me double check this article. Now, let's see here. To open up tonight's Impact on Access TV, champion Rich Swann thanked Dreamer for his service to the Impact Wrestling locker room. He noted that not only is February 13th the date of No Surrender, but it's also Tommy's 50th birthday. As a special gift, Swan offered Dreamer an Impact World Championship shot at the event. And the innovator of violence graciously accepted. All right. So it doesn't say it's going to be the main event. I'm not sure what the main event is. I would assume this is a main event, but there's some big stuff happening. There's some big stuff happening at No Surrender, and we've just cracked the knowledge on the card. We just opened that up because we also got, was it the Good Brothers versus AEW's Private Party for the Impact Championships. And they're going to be there with big money, Matt. That's crazy. So look, I want your honest opinions on this. Are you excited to see Tommy Dreamer get a world championship shot against Rich Swann? In my opinion, look, I love Tommy Dreamer. And I was honestly a little taken back by this, a little, well, certainly surprised. I figured, Moose has been in the mix, big picture, it's Rich Swann and Moose. That's happening somewhere in the future. They've been now setting that up slowly over the last several weeks, ever since Genesis. And I understand that they want to probably do that at a big event. I was assuming no surrender. Now, you know what they say, it's always card subject to change. So this could change before then, but I'm guessing it won't. I mean, just for the sake of controversy, something could happen and then they change the card like, oh, something happened, and then change it to Tommy not being able to compete on his 50th birthday. I don't know. I don't want to try to overthink this. I just want more your opinions on do you think do you like the idea of seeing Tommy Dreamer on his 50th birthday get a championship shot? I say, hey, why not? The guy can still go. Is he a little slower than he used to be? Yeah. But the guy is still a blessing to this roster. And I think I'm sure they're going to put on a good match. Now, I'm sure there's also going to be some interference, some shenanigans, if you will. But, because I have absolutely no doubt that Moose is going to do something. So we'll just have to wait and see. But let me know your thoughts. Are you excited for this? What could possibly be the main event? I mean, there's some big stuff happening in Impact Wrestling now. So, but let's get to that next bit of news that we are going to talk about. And then we're going to, oh my God, hello, Rocky. Just bulldozing through here like a, bull in a china shop. Say hello. Say hi. For those listening on the audio, yes, I have cats. Sometimes they just run in here and just take over the show. It's what they do. J-Bone and his cats. All right. Where were we? Yes. We had a special return last night. And we'll cover one other piece of news right after this because I wanted to not just drop these two pieces. There's something else happening. So we had a big return last night in the main event. They hinted it a few days ago. This big 4-on-4 happening in last night's Impact Wrestling. They're sadly outnumbered. Swann, Bay, Moose, Shamrock against Rich Swann, Team Swann, if you will, Tommy Dreamer, and Willie Mack. Scott, feeling bad for him, says, well, about that Steiner math thing, but it looks like you guys are outnumbered. But I think I might have a solution for that. And introduces them to their solution. Certainly out of our eyesight. And they keep dropping all these little little hints in between segments on the Twitch. We're talking about it. We don't know who it could be. We all have ideas, but we're not sure. Some people out there are saying, "Oh, I knew it." No, you didn't. Because we were all told that this guy was heading up north. This guy was heading to the WWE. But we got the return of one Trey Miguel. Looking badass and ready to go. And man, yeah, new look, different hair color, blonde. Yeah, Zach, he was blonde, all right. And man, I was shocked, completely shocked. There were people dropping little hints like there was something happening this week. Like, oh gosh, Chris Hero said he had some news that he was dropping, but he's just doing a podcast with Conrad, and you can go to Conrad's Patreon and you can pay for that podcast. I would much rather see Chris Hero in the ring, but he's got a lot of stories to tell. So Conrad is obviously going to make a buck off of his stories. So hey, it is what it is. Still love Chris Hero. Just hoping that someday he will return to the ring, you know. So let me know what you guys think about Trey Miguel's return. I'll say this. I'm excited. I mean, the guy headlined Slammiversary? Yeah, Slammiversary. He left Impact Wrestling without a championship. Now he's back. He needs a championship. He really does. I mean, there's a lot of guys that I'm rooting for this year. You know, Ace Austin, Chris Bay, Rohit Raju, Moose, you know, but not everybody can have championships all the time. But man, Trey is really going to make the best of this year. And I think him returning to the company is a sure sign of that. I'm sure he had offers from different places. You know, he was supposed to go up north. Apparently, we don't know all the details, but obviously that didn't happen, did it? So let me I'm hearing all sorts of stuff about Moose. We're not going to talk about contract stuff because 24 hours later, all that shit changes. That happens all the time. Oh, so-and-so's contract is expiring 5 minutes ago. Oh, no. Now it's expiring 10 minutes ago. Well, then what is it? You know, quit making shit up. You know, it's just to get headlines. That's all it is. It's all it ever is. Let's talk to the chat for a minute. Apollo. Where's Apollo? Why are you asking about Apollo? Oh, because I was talking about Rocky. Okay, I see what that is. Yeah. Swag fans in here. Bill's Beard. Hello. What is up? Amazing return, says Buckshot Kid. Gary says, I saw the news on Instagram. Kurt, what is up? Justin Miller says, love seeing Trey back. Hopefully they give him a big push. There you go. Buckshot Kid said he looked like he had a chip on his shoulder. Yeah, well, can you blame him? Can you really blame him? And I talked about this last night on the podcast a little bit. And for the sake of everyone being here, and I know not everybody here goes to TNI, or maybe you do. But for the sake of those who maybe don't, I'll repeat part of that. When the picture of the new class of NXT went public, and it had Zachary Wentz and Dezen Wentz. The name's escaping me. I apologize. Dezen Wentz, 2/3 of the Rascals. When their pictures were on the group photo of the January class of NXT, joining the PC, all the questions were out there. Where's Trey? What happened to Trey? When's Trey coming? Triple H came back with a not so nice, vague, yet very pointed response, talking about, some people don't have the passion. This is a business of passion. I've seen nothing but passion from this kid since day one, in his charisma, in the treehouse segments, always, putting a smile on our faces. That takes effort. It does. His stuff in the ring, amazing. People try to copy his stuff in the ring, unsuccessfully. You guys know what I'm talking about. There is a passion behind Trey that is infectious, and you can't help but root for this kid. So I'm excited that he's home, and damn whatever that other guy said. You know who I'm talking about. Bill's Beard says he probably would end up like Prince Puma from Lucha Underground. Oh, you mean Ricochet, who loses every single freaking week. Yeah. Mark! Uncle Mark is in the chat. What is up? Says, I've been hyped as hell since last night. Trey is going to shove it up Triple H's ass. Well, there you go. He's going to prove everyone what he's been proving to us for the last few years. That this kid is all about passion. And his little things he's been putting on Twitter about working with the people that he's helping in the ring and teaching them. You're going to tell me that there's a guy that's doing that doesn't have passion? Are you serious? That's just ludicrous thinking. Absolutely ludicrous. What did Triple H say? I missed that. He said that this is a business about passion, that some people just don't have the passion. That's paraphrasing. That's not word for word, but it's talked about people not having passion. As in, Trey Miguel didn't have the passion. No, he just turned down your offer for whatever reason. Doesn't mean he doesn't have passion. Don't criticize the guy's passion. Not everybody says yes to the WWE. And this may be the first one in a long time that has said no to the WWE. I honestly can't think of another off the top of my head. So, hey, it is what it is. But anyways, the other piece of news that we're going to talk about. So, yeah, let me know in the chat. Let me know how excited you are to see Trey back. And I did check the roster, and he is on the roster. So, sometimes they do the official, hey, so-and-so is signed to Impact Wrestling. Now, that may come eventually, but he's on the roster page. That's got to count for something. So I have absolutely no doubt that he is actually back. He is back home. Scott D'Amore on the Twitter box last night said he's back home. That tells me that he is re-signed. Don't know any details. Don't have to. Just happy to see him. Last piece of news I want to cover that was announced in the last day or so that I should have seen this last night, but you're prepping for the show and everything and you missed stuff. We had quite the loaded show on TNI last night. We had 3 guests and then the review. And we got it all done in about 2 hours. So we did pretty good. Crazy stuff. So this is courtesy of WrestleZone, as I was looking for, some more news. So Matt Cardona and Brian Myers officially announced new podcast network. 2 new original series are part of the show lineup. So this is going to go on their the major pod network, I guess they're calling it. But it's all going to go on the major wrestling figure podcast channel that's on YouTube, I guess. So stuff that they are going to add is the True Long Island Story. And that's going to be all about Matt Cardona's Z True Long Island Story that used to be, part of YouTube, and how he, the inception of it and everything. So that should be cool, him telling stories. And now the second one looks even almost more interesting, depending on what you like as far as a wrestling fan. Brian Myers is going to have a new series called Extreme Conversations with Brian Myers. Each episode of Extreme Conversations explores a historic moment from classic ECW with interviews from the very wrestlers involved and other insiders. Wow. While weaving in Myers' own memories. On the pilot episode, Myers discusses ECW's famous Heatwave 2000 event and the brawl that broke out between rival promotions. Former ECW wrestlers Francine, Justin Credible, Nova, and Steve Corino share their stories. Wow. Or their memories, I should say. It says the pilot episode is already available. Huh. So the major pod network has the whole schedule here. They've got the major wrestling figure podcast, Off the Hop Rope podcast. Not familiar with that one. Extreme Conversations with Brian Myers, True Long Island Story, the podcast, Game Marks podcast, and then the Figure Wrestling Federation. And then there's descriptions for each one. I'm not going to read each one down here. But it looks like that's all going to be on their YouTube channel. Follow Major Pod Network for more details. So that looks pretty cool. I'm excited to see that. I don't watch all their stuff for, the figures and stuff, but I am I'm always down to check out some new podcasts, so I'll give it a spin, especially the ECW stuff. I do like, I would love to get into the classic ECW stuff and get into that sometime and start reviewing it as part of another series. But it's just finding time for it, because between just doing regular stuff that I'm doing now and TNI stuff, it's loaded. So maybe somewhere down the line, like maybe when Trent and I are done with the Asylum series, I think a lot of people just assume that we're just going to continue then with the FS1, episodes that happened after that. I'll probably watch them, but because that's when I first became a fan. That's when I first really started watching that brand. But we're not going to continue that throwback series and just keep reviewing everything. We're just going to stop at the Asylum days. That's a nice place to, end that part right there. So maybe after that's done, within the next year or so, or whatever it is, we just started the second year. We're in episode 55, I believe. Maybe after that, then I'll start deep diving into some ECW stuff. We'll see. Mark says, J-Bone, next time you go live, middle of the day for news, hit me up. I can almost always make it in the daytime. Will do, dude. Good to know. Good to know, man. You are a good guest. By the way, folks, if you don't know, if you didn't hear, Mark is working on some new content for the channel with Truck, I believe. So when they have time, that will come to the public's eye. Can't wait to see it. Mark says he's halfway through number 55 right now. Awesome. Gary says, where does one find ECW stuff? Well, you're going to have to go to the WWE network for that. And I covered that news the other day because it's moving. Builds Beer says, did you see Cardona's vlog for Impact? Yes, I did see that. That was fun. So he's documenting his days, his first time at Impact Wrestling, and it's cool. It's real. It's really organic. It's it's like, hey, I'm doing this. It's not a ton of special effects or nothing. It's just just him talking into his phone and talking about stuff he's doing at Impact and being there for the first time, and and let me know too what you think about him being at Impact. I love it. I'm so excited that he's getting a fresh start. I hope he does end up signing with Impact, but it's this kind of stuff takes time, and Impact is willing to work with him. They're not just slapping a contract down and say, hey, if you don't sign, you can't work here. No, they're giving them the chance to, hey, see if this is a fit for you. Let's have fun with this. Let's start the next chapter in your career. And I'm sure they're giving him some freedom. And I'm sure that's going to involve Brian Meyer somehow. Heck, we've already seen it. It's interesting. It's very interesting. So they may be enemies on screen and working behind the scenes for the podcast. We'll have to wait and see how that story develops. Yes, the WWE Network will be on Peacock soon. I covered all that on Monday. That was huge breaking news. March I believe, will be the start of that. March 8th, I want to say 18th, just after the halfway point of the month. Fastlane? Fastlane's going to be the first event. And then WrestleMania, of course, will follow that. And yeah, everything's moving over to Peacock. The nice thing is, if you don't mind the commercials, you can save yourself $5 and get Peacock and the WWE Network for $4.99. You save yourself $5. But if you want it all ad free, you're still going to pay the same thing that you're paying now, $9.99, no change. So, but more information is going to roll out about that in the next few weeks. But that was a big announcement. So they're basically going to rent the WWE content. This isn't the NBC is buying WWE. I know some people are starting to think that. But no, this isn't what that is. I mean, could that happen someday? Sure. But no. So NBC is going to own the WWE network of content, and they're getting Vince is getting $1 billion over the course of 5 years. $200 million a year. I mean, that's just wow. What he could do with his company with that money, besides put it in his pocket, Mark says, I'm a one-day Peacock premium subscriber and I love it. Well, I know there's a lot of good stuff on Peacock. Some people like The Office and some other stuff. There's some new content on there, some new series, some classic ones, current stuff, of course. I don't watch a lot of regular TV, so I'll be really curious to see what's all on there between TV and movies and such. So, yeah. I usually watch a lot of like sci-fi or action-based stuff on Netflix and or Amazon Prime. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'll probably switch over in the next couple of months, when they start rolling out new information on it, and try to make it as smooth as possible, and we'll see what happens. Let me know if you're excited about that as well. Zach Bonifer says he's proud as a peacock. Well, alrighty then. Gary said, I have no problem with Cardona at all, but I noticed since he bulked up, he has slowed down in the ring. I don't know if he's bulked up. I think it's his setting that's making him look bigger. Maybe he did gain some muscle mass, but I really honestly think it's his surroundings that are making it look so big. Him so big, excuse me. And we talked about this on the show last night, how he looks like he just towers over everyone. When you're used to seeing him, I should say, if you're used to seeing him on WWE television, that is set in an arena setting, and everybody looks significantly smaller. They always do the big pan back, and you see the wall of screens / people, behind the ring. So all the wrestlers look significantly smaller. WWE television is shot a lot different than Impact Wrestling television. Impact Wrestling television is shot so that you've got the background and everything is shot real tight to the ring. So you don't see a lot of what's past the barrier. I mean, obviously, if stuff spills outside the ring, you're going to see it. But that is one of the big differences. The lighting, the atmosphere. It affects all that. So that's part of it. But I hear what you're saying. It can look like one might be moving slower if you're used to seeing him in a different scenario. So I hear that. Elijah Washington, what is up? Mark, and now I can watch WCCW again. Interesting. That is on there. I don't know how much of that is on there. I don't know how much of that is around. That stuff gets a little blurry. J-Bone looks different since Manny took off. No, Manny's still here. He's just right off camera here. He'll be part of the new background once I get this whole office done. Trust me. It's the wheels are turning. It'll all get set up within the next week or so because I want to get this done. I'm getting antsy in here. I want to get this office clean. I want to get about half of this stuff in here cleaned out. And it'll be similar to a past setup where I had stuff behind me and whatever, on the other side of a room, approximately. So we'll see. We'll see. It's in the works. So just be patient, folks. I'm trying to figure this out because you can only do so much with this office because I've done a bunch of different scenarios in here already. So anyways, all right. So that's it for this one. Come by later tonight for Smash This Podcast review of AEW's Dynamite. We'll be covering all the action tonight shortly after it goes off the air, so make sure you come back for that. And on the way out, make sure you smash that like button, smash that sub button, ring that bell for notifications so that you know when more of my content hits your screen. See you later tonight.